Welcome, welcome. We have a
Thanks.
fun topic today we're looking forward to.
Great to see you.
All right, well, we're going to get started. What I would like to do is invite each of you to put something in the chat. What is the word coming up for you today? Like, could be an emotion, could be a decision, could be something inspiring. What's your word for today? Just go ahead and type it in the chat.
Okay, so I'm detailed. So I'm like, I need a little bit more direction.
Perfect.
Are you talking about how are you feeling or how do
Could
you
be.
want to feel?
Could be.
What our intention is? What are you asking?
It could be intention. It could
Mhm.
be I'm literally just doing a check-in, like what's coming up for you when I ask that. It
Perfect.
could be terrified, it could be I'm confused, it could be I'm inspired, I'm ready, like ready to go. It could be anything kind of, I guess, emotionally based, but it doesn't have to be an emotion. It could be like a decision or something like that. We were at a conference just the other day and they asked a question like that. And the word that came up for me was disrupt. And then I want to begin to disrupt like kind of the industry. I want to begin to disrupt old belief patterns, old thought processes, things that are holding people back. I want to disrupt that kind of stuff so that we could create a new norm, like create a new experience for people instead of what their old stories and their old patterns have been. So that was my word uh, for the basically the last 2 weeks. I've been kind of keep coming up. I saw it this morning. We're in a co-working space today, and I don't know if you saw it, but one of the new offices that somebody moved into, they had a whole wall graphic done, and one of the words on there was disrupt. So
Mhm. How
there it is.
perfect,
It's popping back up for me.
right?
So, yeah.
Love it. Okay, so Susie says overwhelm. Al says decisive. And Abby says optimistic. Hi, Abby.
Welcome, Abby.
Hi,
Hi,
Wendy.
Wendy. Yeah. Susie, I wonder if you could tell us a little bit more in the chat, like what's coming up for you with overwhelm? Is it a specific area of life? Is it too much information? What's going on there?
I'm gonna do it verbally because it's just too much of everything. Computer issues. I got a machine, a hydrogen machine, has to be set up. The instructions are very bad. I'm not sure how to get the right instructions. It's just everything is happening like that at the moment. So
Gotcha.
every time I turn around, there's something else I'm supposed to be at right now. It's like things are crossing over. Things are like
Gotcha.
they're so I have to talk with my this is my way of talking right now. It's like
Yeah.
the
Well, thanks for sharing that. And I don't know if you're open to it, but one of the things that I know when I feel overwhelmed, two things actually that help me. One, make a list. Like make a list of everything that's on my mind. And then when I put it down there, then I can actually choose what's the priority, what can I focus on. The second thing, I'm gonna go back to a story. This is probably 20 years ago now. I remember it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I was at work, I still worked for Chase. I was a financial advisor for them at the time. And I had so much stuff to get done before the close of business that day. I literally went into almost like a panic attack, which is
Mm.
something I'd really never done before. And somebody I knew said, "Hey, just take a second and pray." And so I did. I prayed. And then I can't even tell you because sometimes that's how the answers to prayer work. The bank closed at 5. It was 2 when I did that and said that prayer. And by 4:30, I had everything on my list done.
Mm.
And it was like, I thought, and I was in such a panic that there was no way I could get it all done before the close of business. And then I
Yeah.
had a half hour extra to spare just by like doing something to shift that energy. It can be so powerful. So I know overwhelm can be terrifying. I know it's frustrating. And at the same time, like look for techniques. And if you don't have them on your own, AI can help you with it. You can ask it. Certainly pray, ask somebody else for help. That is one thing I would say. This is kind of an aside, but we talk about for women all the time. Men love to help. They love to be put to work. And so if you're finding that you're overwhelmed, is there a guy you can reach out to and just be like, "Hey, I don't know why this is bothering. Can you help me with this? Would you mind coming over? Pour him a glass of iced tea, tell him you're thankful for him." And like most guys would be more than willing and happy to help. We'd love to be of service.
Yeah, and I'll expand that even more, not just guys. I feel like people in general love to help, right? And but as women, like we tend to get used to doing things on our own and feeling like we have to take care of it all. And so that might be another opportunity, not just to ask men, but to ask friends, to ask, to ask even who can we hire to support us, right? Like now we're doing something. We're giving someone else an opportunity to maybe earn some money and taking things off our plate, taking things off our load, right? So it could be even kids, it can be relatives, it can be strangers, it can be somebody off of Facebook, if you're in a group or something, like, hey, I need support with this. Like, who do you know that either does this or wants to do it, right? I think asking for support and then allowing yourself to receive it could be another way too.
So
Yeah, I did that actually, and it was great. One of my girlfriends came over and did help, but we couldn't figure out what to do. So
sure.
it may take a man, and I've thought about that and been thinking of men that would be appropriate that are available at the moment, and not at this moment, but
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
end.
Yeah.
So
I'm
that's
reminded.
the moment. But thank you. Yeah,
I'm
and the
reminded.
prayer thing, I've been yelling at God, so I guess that's a prayer in a way. Like why? But I calm down after a minute. But I think for me, it's healthy to let it all out for a little while, and then
Yeah.
it can calm down. So
Perfect.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm reminded of one last thing, and then we got to move on. But I think it was Benjamin Franklin that talks about the best way to make a friend is to ask them to do something for you. Like when
Mm.
you first move into a neighborhood, go to your neighbors and ask them to help you. Instead of offering to help them, you
Mhm.
ask them. And when somebody does something for you, they begin to feel bonded to you. And
Right.
so it's definitely something to keep in mind. So
yeah,
on that note, I'm excited today because we have so much to get to. I had such a big intention to cover so much ground, and the more work and homework that I was putting into this, I realized like there's almost no chance we get through all of this today. So that being said, we're going to jump right into it. And I do want to say that we have an event coming up in 2 weeks. At the end of this, we're going to give you an opportunity to know more about it. It's our magnetic event. It's just a nice little fun play on the word magnetic. It is going to be a 2-day event. We're going to tell you all about it, all the benefits, but I just want to kind of plant the seed right now. You're going to want to be there. It's over the weekend. It's Saturday and Sunday morning,
And it's virtual. So
virtual, not
you
this
don't
weekend, but
have to-
next. But we are so excited about it. We're putting this event on, the first event of its kind that we've done. And we are like, I don't know. Do you want to, how are you feeling about it? I know you're a little kind of, there's probably some nerves because we haven't done it before, but
Yeah,
you're
no, I'm
excited
excited.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was gonna share a little bit about our weekend and how it ties in at the
Yeah.
end. So
Yeah, we'll
yeah,
come
I'd
back
love
to that. So
yeah.
that's just give you guys a little heads up of something that we're leading up to at the end of today's call. But I want to jump in today to the conversation about men. Okay. So first of all, I want to get some of you guys' feedback, some of your perceptions. Like what, let's just ask this question first. When you think about men, do men have it easier in dating or women? What's your
Mm.
perspective? What are your thoughts? Who has it harder? Who has it easier? And maybe one or two reasons why. Keep it short, but just put some stuff in the chat. Let's hear what your perspective is. And man, while they're typing that stuff up, I heard you go, like what came up for you when I said that?
Well, I think it's just an interesting question, like to even the question of who has it easier, men or women. So like I'm curious to see what people think. I think in some ways women have it easier, and then in other ways men have it easier. So
Tell me more. What are some of the easier ways for women and what are some of the easier ways for men?
um I want to actually get
See
people's
what's
response. Yeah. And then I don't want to plant too many seeds.
Yeah. Al put a comment in the chat about the previous conversation, and he said, when someone does us a favor, we feel indebted to repay them back.
Do we feel?
Oh, do we feel? Well, that is typically what happens is that now there's an opportunity to reciprocate. So, and that is where relationships are basically formed. Like relationships are give and take. They are like pour into and receive back from. And so it is a good way to start because then once they've done something for you from a psychological standpoint,
Mhm.
they kind of expect and are willing to have you give something back to them.
Sure.
So now it creates that interaction. All right. So Susie said men have it more difficult because they have to do the first move, but uh, it's good that they have testosterone because that can make it easier for them. Potentially, I like your thinking there. Definitely, that first move
Mhm.
is a tough thing.
Yeah.
Almost no humans are disagreeable enough to love rejection. That is something that we have to grow to get used to, kind of build up the calluses to being shot down. And
Hmm.
I remember, okay, this is hilarious. I haven't thought of this in a long time, but I remember, I think ninth grade, we had a dance and there was a girl I had a crush on for like the whole year. And she hadn't been asked to the dance yet that I knew of. And so like I was going to ask her at lunch,
Okay.
but that meant like all the night before, every class in the morning, like I was not paying attention. I was completely, there was so much, there was so much anxiety in my heart, so much tension and so much distraction from everything that was going on. And then I made it worse because I told some friends I was going to do it. So now it was like, I have to do it.
Right.
So like the heart is just pumping, like you can't even hear over the sound of your own heart beating, right? Like, and then, you know, going up to her on lunch, and she was a sweet, just wonderful girl, but her parents wouldn't let her go to dances yet. They didn't think she was old enough to date, and going to a dance, she could go to the dance. She just couldn't go with somebody. But that still felt like such a rejection. It
Mm.
still felt like crushing. And then I had to go back and tell my friends that like she said no. And like, even though there's an excuse, it still is a rejection.
Sure.
It's terrifying. And it doesn't get much easier. So I love, Susie, that you're aware of that, that for men, it is oftentimes harder to just get that ball rolling.
Okay.
Abby says, I don't know that I think that men or women have it easier. I think it depends on your mindset on how hard or easy it is. I agree. And I love that.
Great points. Yeah.
And I think that you're probably right, Abby. It's neither one of them have it easier. And at the same time, there are hard parts in for both of them, I think.
Yeah. I think part of my thinking is that there are societal expectations kind of related to what Susie said, right? Like men, they feel like they have to make the first move. Like there's almost a societal expectation that men are the one who's going to ask you out. So then on the flip side of that, if you're a woman and you're thinking that, oh, man has to make the first move, then it's almost like you're giving up your power, right? Like you're almost waiting for somebody to ask you out or make the first move. I always like to think when a couple gets engaged, right? A lot of times, especially if they're younger, like the woman would be like waiting, and they might get impatient, like, oh, when is it gonna happen? And then they might start asking so much that it becomes a big thing.
Yeah.
And so in that scenario, the woman feels like she doesn't have the power because she's essentially just waiting for him to pop the question. Right. But it's so, like, in that scenario, it feels like you don't have the power, but of course, what we teach, you do have the power. You can inspire action through your feminine communication. So, if you
That's different. That's different than doing it. So,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly, yeah. But it's not like it's out of your control completely. There are ways that you can show up. There are things you can communicate that can express your needs and wants
Yeah.
that can inspire action.
Yeah.
I think that's the first thing that comes to me is like the woman sometimes feels like they don't have the power. It's like they're just sitting around waiting to be asked.
Yeah. I love this conversation. I think it's incredibly important. And welcome to the people who just jumped on. Thank you for coming on. We're talking about for men and women, what is more difficult as far as dating goes? Who's having it harder? What are some of the struggles that each of the sexes have there? And definitely there are difficulties for both of them. I've been just pouring into the information that's coming out from online dating,
Mhm.
and I find it fascinating. I'm sure it's probably going to be boring to some of you, but for me, it's fascinating. Like the average man who approaches a woman on an online dating app, he will have to reach out to about 200 women to get 5 yeses to go on like a coffee date. And even then, most of them will ghost him. So the amount of effort he has to put in right now, we're just talking about online dating, but the amount of effort, the reach outs, the risks that he has to take is about 200 conversation initiations to possibly get one coffee date. So there's a tremendous amount of exertion. I mean, and maybe he's being lazy and he's just copying and pasting, but he's still trying to reach out and starting these conversations. And so this is where we're finding that a lot of the men are just like opting out. they're just saying, it's so frustrating, it's not worth the effort, I'm just going to stop. And so now we're also seeing like tragic results of that, which is leading to suicide and learned helplessness and all these other different things. So it's kind of alarming. It's eye-opening. It's alarming, but there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. And one of the things that I've been thinking about too with social media, you've all heard of thirst traps. You guys know what a thirst trap is? Put me in the chat if you know what a thirst trap is. Put no if you don't. I just want to kind of touch base here with.
I think I know that term.
Okay, so thirst trap is the term. This might be something where like all the kids are saying it kind of thing. But the thirst trap is like the girl who's working out in her, whether she's just in a bikini or she's got her like yoga pants on, but they're not just yoga pants. They're like the yoga pants that like show off everything, the sports bra thing. Or the flip side of that is like the guy who doesn't just show up on Facebook, but he shows up and he's got his shirt off and he's chopping wood or something like that, just to let you watch him chop wood. And it's like, what? Nobody needs to watch you chop wood, bro. But like a whole bunch of women are like, oh yes, please come chop my wood. Kind of like, it makes you thirsty, right? For that, if that makes sense. So with that, one of the things that I notice is that for women to do a thirst trap, they don't really have to do anything. They can just show up, and guys being traditionally, statistically more visually minded, they just see something and they like it, right? They're like, I'll follow her, like whatever.
Yeah.
But if a man just shows up without a shirt on, not that big of a deal. But if he shows up and he's doing something, that seems to be what is triggering those types of feelings for women. And so I think that's very interesting when we talk about the masculine and the feminine and the doing energy and the being energy. Men are attracted to these women, not because of what they're doing, just for who they are and how they're showing up for their being. But women are attracted to these men for the actions that they're taking.
Gotcha.
And, and I guess where I'm going with this is when you're on, I don't know, we'll just use Bumble for an example, or Match.com, and you see a picture of a guy. Most women, okay, this is an amazing statistic too. How do I word this? What percentage of men would you say are attractive? Like, it would seem like half the men are going to be attractive and half are going to be unattractive, right? Like just 5 to 10 is attractive, 4 and under is unattractive. Seems logical, right? But studies are showing that women find 85% of men unattractive. So that means that almost all women are attracted to 15% of men. So no wonder there's a plethora of an abundance of women who are frustrated because they're not getting the attention on dating sites and dating apps because they're wanting just the attention of 15% of men.
Sure.
And so 15% of men have the ability to reach 100% of the women, and 85% of the men are just kind of left out. And I wonder if you had a dating app that instead of a picture of a guy who probably didn't put any makeup on, probably didn't get a professional to take his picture,
right?
Probably just like in the bathroom mirror took a picture of himself, or he's holding a fish, which I know women don't like. He's putting up crappy content for women to look at, especially since, as we were just talking about, as a man, his picture is just showing him being, not doing.
Yeah.
Now, if he was out there fixing a car, like he could put up a video of him like fixing stuff, or building a deck or chopping wood. I wonder if women would find the men more attractive because they could see them doing.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. And I know we've got men on here today, which is exciting, but it reminds me of when I went back into the dating world and I actually used Tinder for like, I don't know, a very, very short amount of time before I realized what it really was. But I had, in a very short amount of time, I had up to like 7,000 or 8,000 likes. Like it was so many that I couldn't even keep up. It was like, oh my gosh, like all of a sudden. And so I got overwhelmed by that. And I remember talking to my ex-husband who was also on Tinder, who happened to see my profile. And so we were like, just texting back and forth, like, oh, what's your experience like? And he, he was like, there's not a lot of women who like me, and it's like the disparity between women who get attention and likes basically for what you're talking about, right? Like I didn't do anything. I just had pictures. I had, different things, but I was getting likes just from that. And he was not getting likes because he probably wasn't able to show his ability
Right.
to.
Yeah. And like, I know I've met him once and like, I
Yeah.
know him a little bit, like a very capable, smart, like
Yeah.
great, great job,
Yep.
great hobbies, handy, like works on
Very.
cars and
Yep.
like really makes really cool rides. Like, I don't know that you can show that in a dating app.
Right. Yeah.
And so my point for this is, okay, I'll go one step further. How often do you see a model or a movie star actress or something like that, and then you see her husband and it's like, what is she doing with him? Like, she's a 9.5, 10, and
Mhm.
he's a 6.5. Like, what is going on here? Like, why is she with him? It doesn't seem to match up.
Mhm.
And I really do believe that women have an ability to find a man attractive. I love what Tiffany said there, based upon how she's treated, but also based upon his capabilities.
Mhm.
I believe that one of the most attractive things, and it's hard to tell this to a woman until she sees it, is she sees him in action. She sees his competencies. She sees that glimmer of greatness in him. And she's like, I want to be around that. And it's not about who he is. It's about what he's able to do.
Sure.
So we got some. Sorry.
I don't know
Hold on
why I
one
can't
second.
mute her.
Go to the
Here.
participants. Go. There we go. Sorry. Got some background noise. Sorry about that, guys. So with that being said, like, how do we, if we're trying to help women, how do we help them see men in the light of their greatness? And before we go on to that, like, I want to use some examples, because I think this is important. And so we're gonna use some real life stories. One of the recent like super success stories, if you follow them at all, I'll withhold the name for a minute, but there's a gentleman out there that you probably know who he started a business. It was going pretty well. And then his partner kind of screwed him and he lost everything. And he was so despairing that the girl that he was dating at the time, he literally said he had moved into her house with her parents. And he literally said, I think you should leave me because I don't think that I can recover from this. And I don't want to drag you down with me. And she said, I know that you're better than this. I know that we can come back from this. And it doesn't matter if we live under a bridge. I'm with you. That guy's name is Alex Hormozy. And his wife, Layla Hormozy. Like, there's lots of people who make fun of her voice, make fun of her. She's kind of more masculine in her features and that kind of stuff. But when he heard that from her, he immediately knew that was the person that he wanted to build a life with. And their love story is fantastic if you ever listen to any of the interviews about that. But what a man is looking for is somebody who can see that greatness in him and chooses to be with him kind of no matter what.
Mhm.
Like, the whole ride or die kind of term, like, chooses to say, I'm going to be by your side. And throughout history, we see amazing things. And sometimes it's kind of like whitewashed with terms like behind every great man is a great woman. Like, that kind of oversimplifies it. But if you look at, Franklin Delano Roosevelt and Eleanor Roosevelt, or you look at Voltaire and his wife, you look at Albert Einstein and his wife, you look at John Madison and Dolly Madison, like, the men were good. Like, there was something good about the men. They had wisdom, they had smarts, they had skills, they had something. But then they found a woman. And I love the story of Dolly Madison. Like, Dolly Madison was this cute little thing back in the 17 and 1800s. And every man wanted her attention. And James Madison was so like studious. He was just a bookworm, complete nerd, all about politics, all about the stuff. But she saw in him some greatness. And he was kind of socially awkward. But she hosted the best parties. She invited people around. Her like ability as a socialite made him into the great man that he was, and became one of our founding fathers, one of our early presidents. He would not have been able to do that without her.
Sure.
And she wouldn't have wanted to do that if she hadn't been able to look past the fact that he was kind of a nerd, shorter in stature, like all these things. She saw something in him and said, that man has something great about him, even when everybody else was ignoring him. And she chose to partner with him to build something amazing. And I love that part of the love story, that the men often don't have the physical attributes on the outside that the other women are attracted to. Like what, the first profile picture doesn't do anything for you. I get that. That's why 85% of the men are not attractive to most women. But if you can look beyond the profile picture, like what is he great at? What is he really, really good at? That when you partner with him, not only does he level up into a new level of greatness, but you actually find something attractive about him.
So I want to pause there because so I love this, right? It makes sense. And if you are dating, right, you're not actually with somebody, you're not there at the point where you're building with somebody. How can somebody apply this, man or woman?
So it's a fantastic question. And it's probably one of the things that when it comes to online dating, people want to hear the least, which is give more guys a chance. If it's not online dating, which you know, and everybody else here knows that we're not huge proponents of online dating. We actually recommend that you try not to do online dating. But whether or not you're on it or not, like if a man approaches you and shows interest in you, can you look beyond the initial first impression to see if there's some greatness underneath there? I oftentimes, and I know you don't like it when I do, but I oftentimes kind of make fun of myself because I'm not like that, anything that great. I'm not 5'11". I'm under 5'11", and most women want somebody who's 6 feet tall. I don't have tremendously great income. I've given up on my hair. Like my looks, if you objectively looked at me in a picture, I might be a 7. Like there's not, but I'm articulate. I'm smart. I choose to grow. Like you are attracted to my humor and several other of my features. I'll let you play me up later. But like, if you just looked at my profile picture, I'm maybe slightly above average. But I'm saying looks, if you just looked at my profile picture, there's nothing, I'm not going to be like a Dior model or, I'm not going to get an Under Armour contract or something like that because I'm not a model. But I have skills. I have things that make me attractive to you and to other women.
100%.
Those are skills that are not going to show up on that first impression.
Sure. Yep.
And so my point in saying that is, I think that a lot of women are looking for that first spark. Oh my God, he's drop dead gorgeous. But that's less than 15% of people.
Yeah.
And so what about the other amazing people that changed the world, that created very, very happy wives because of who they were and how they were, how they loved back? Like, how do we as coaches for women, how do we help you see that probably there's a diamond out there, but he might still be in the rough?
Sure. Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, it reminds me of when I was with my friend and she was on my dating app for me and she was actually swiping and she was like, how about this guy? I was like, nah. And then she would swipe left to reject him. And then she was like, how about this guy? And I'm like, ah. And she's like, what is wrong with these people? And I was like, I don't know. They're okay. Right. But that was my perception. That was my mindset. Like, they're just okay. Like, I didn't want to invest any time to actually get to know somebody unless they're like you said, like the 15%
Yeah.
of the men, right? And so that was my misconception of dating online, especially. So I think it's a great point. Like, I mean, we're not saying like if somebody immediately is like, oh, like unattractive to you, there's no way that you can be attracted to them. We're not saying like force yourself, right? But if there's nothing that is unattractive, give them a chance, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great way of summing up what I'm saying is that there's a real good chance that we are all trying to use a football term, outkick our coverage. Like if I am a 7 and I'm only swiping on and trying to pursue 9s and 10s, somehow I got lucky enough to find one in real life. But if I'm only going for them, like if I'm only trying to get there, I'm probably setting myself up for frustration.
Sure.
I'm probably putting in a whole lot of extra effort and work, but I'm probably not going to get the payoff.
Yep.
And so how do we look at our situation objectively? That doesn't mean that I'm talking about settling. It doesn't mean that I'm saying, find some ugly guy and he's going to treat you well. He probably would. But my point being, like, we get to be a little bit more objective about things, and we get to remember that there's a human in there, and their humanity, like their skills, their traits, that's really what's important.
Yeah.
Because we're all going to get old and wrinkly, and I know that we are battling that as well as we possibly can with our skincare regimen and all that kind of stuff. But at some point, the looks are going to fade a little bit or a lot. And what really matters is what's underneath it.
Yeah. So I want to open it up for maybe questions or comments. Is this resonating? Are you, disagreeing or agreeing? What's coming up for you? We'd love to just hear.
Well, the thing there are profiles. The ones that I've seen, they have a profile, so they can say things on there. There are a lot of them, honestly, that just I just say these guys don't care what they're doing. For one thing, some of the pictures are so dark you can't even see them, and then they'd say almost nothing or just new on here, just checking out the scenery or whatever. I mean, honestly, the men's profiles are. I mean, there's some that just go on and on and on and on and on. Some that are really interesting. So it is a combination of things. I mean, I feel like I have to have some degree of attraction towards somebody. They don't have to be a 10 or a 9. But there's something there that draws me. And sometimes it's more the profile. But they don't, a lot of them don't put attention into that either. And it's just like, I mean, I've seen people that were really kind of good looking and they don't have anything to say. I'm just like, I'm not even at all interested. If that's how you're gonna treat this, that's how you're gonna treat me. That's how I look at it. So, I mean, it goes both ways, and you're right. I mean, you don't have a lot, but men should understand. I think you should, work with men to get them to understand that. And don't show me your dog every time. I don't care. I'm suspicious if you're too close to your dog. Actually, not in the weird way, but it just because dogs are perfect for men. They don't have to, the dogs love them no matter what they do. So that makes me very suspicious. If you're so attached to your dog, then you're gonna just want to do whatever you want to do all the time, and I'm not interested in that. So anyway, and even your cat over your shoulder. I love animals, but it's just like if that's your main thing, then I don't think that we're gonna work very well. So
Gotcha.
there's a lot of factors, but honestly, somebody needs to talk to those men because they have some really weird. I had one guy who actually showed me his friend. I thought it was him the whole time until his friend was a bodybuilder.
Yeah, that's
And now
definitely when people,
catfishing or whatever that is.
when
He
people do
finally
that.
confessed, and then he showed me his picture, which was not bad. But I was so pissed off at him from everything else that I'm like, I said, if you think somebody's going to come on and trust you after that, and there were other things he did that I didn't like,
Sure.
but it was just like, whoa, no siree. So
So
anyway,
I'm gonna take some of the information that you shared, Susie, and I appreciate you saying that. And I don't like when you talk about dogs and cats and stuff like that. Obviously, you're not watching a movie of somebody's life. We don't know like how much of the time they're spending with their dog or their cat or whatever it is. But at the same time, sometimes our own unconscious biases are really limiting our opportunities. And so this is a great opportunity for that kind of thing where we were just at a conference. We just got back actually this morning. And one of the other coaches there was talking about that unconscious bias and how like the lenses that we view the world through we can immediately create real problems for our interactions, for our businesses, whatever, based upon what we see and how we see it and the meaning that we attach to that. For instance, for you, Susie, if you see a picture with or a guy with a couple of pictures of his dog, it's like, oh, you're too close to it. That means you've attached a meaning to something that may be completely irrelevant. Like, I have a dog that rides on my motorcycle with me, goes on my paddleboard with me. Like, she's absolutely a blast. Do I spend too much time with my dog? I don't know. But you love my dog probably more than I love my dog now.
True.
And so the meaning that we make and associate to things can be something that really holds us back. So how can we shift away from those old stories that we have and look for, or look with genuine curiosity at who is the human underneath this? And yeah, if you're getting scammed and he's putting somebody else's pictures up there, like, obviously those are bad character traits that he's showing right away. And let's see what's underneath that, because the human is probably better than the package that it's coming in.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, personally, if I'm seeing a profile that doesn't have much, right? I remember those days when I was just starting to get back on the dating app, and I was hesitant to even like really, spend a lot of time on there. Like, I would fill out maybe one little thing or maybe two, but I was just in the process of getting back in. So that could also be explaining why somebody has nothing on their profile, right? Like, but we don't know about these things, right? But that's, I guess, going back to curiosity is like, okay, what's happening? And maybe we just want to, say next and go to somebody who does seem like they're ready to invest some time into the dating app, right? So it's all personal, and also at the same time, we don't know what's really going on.
I want to say one thing before we kind of wrap up on this topic for the day, because I think we probably need to cover it a little bit more on a different call. But in the chat, give me a number. How many close friends, and we're going to talk about men in their like 40s to 70s, how many close friends do men have on average?
Tiffany says 4, 0 to 1, 3. Tough, hardly.
Yeah. So the numbers are showing, statistically speaking, that the average male in his 50s has 0 close friends. There are less than one time per month on average that he has a vulnerable conversation with somebody, that he shares what's really going on, that he's able to articulate the struggles that he's having and what he feels. And I love what Brene Brown said. You can go find her quote, but specifically, she studies shame as it relates to women. And there was a book signing that a guy came up to her and said, well, that's convenient that you don't study men. And when she had the conversation with the man, she uncovered that men feel like if they talk vulnerably, if they expose any weakness at all, it's basically going to be weaponized against them. And so men are typically holding their cards closer to their chest. And it wouldn't surprise me if on profile, I'm not going to put myself out there that much. I could actually say something too much, and then you could use that against me. So I'm just going to put myself out there a little bit and see. Now, that's probably hurting them too. And at the same time, like, we get to do better for both of us. Women deserve better, but so do men. Like, we both deserve better. So how do we create that? And I know one of the things that we've talked about lately is how many women complain about they'll go on a date and a man will just talk the whole time. And it's like the woman goes, he didn't even ask anything about me. He doesn't care about me at all. And one of the things that I'm going to teach in this Magnetique class in 2 weeks is about that, about how we can do things. I love Al just gave a thumbs up there. And if you weren't on the call early, Al is a gentleman who's joining us today, and he's from Malaysia. So we've got the male perspective here coming in. But how do we now take that information and utilize it in a way that actually helps us and them. Like, how do we create a better conversation that actually can heal people and grow things and create relationship? And I'm excited to bring that into this event that we have coming up on Saturday, not this Saturday, but next Saturday. Do you want to add anything to that before we kind of wrap up on the topic?
Um, no, I'm good.
Gotcha. So that being said, we have this event coming up on the 27th and 28th. It's 9. Go ahead, Susie.
Jesus.
Oh, okay. You got to run. Gotcha. Bye. We love to have you here. It's going to be an interactive event with lots of experiences and practices where you can actually jump into small groups and breakout rooms and actually practice some of the techniques that we're going to teach you in that event and see what it feels like, see how it works, get comfortable with the language and the experiences that we're talking about so that you can actually find your unique personality type, your unique magnetism. Because I promise you, one of the things that men are looking for most, and I'm going to go back to what Tiffany said a couple of minutes ago. I was told the other day that I'm unapproachable. We can shift that. That's not hard. So let's talk about how instead of being unapproachable, you go all the way from unapproachable, beyond approachable to magnetic, to where men want to be in your presence. They they can't wait till the next time they have a chance to run across you or to get in your path or to take you out, something. They want to be around you because you have the ability to make them feel something that they haven't felt in a long time. That's the point of the Magnetique event. Do you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, so logistically, it's a 2-day event, Saturday and Sunday, virtual. It starts at 9 a.m. Pacific. So, plenty of time even after for if you want to do something after. But it's going to be interactive, it's going to be experiential. And like Angus said, we're going to be helping you know and learn what your specific magnetic identity blueprint is, like specific to you. How does Susie show up, right? How does Christina show up in a way that you are in your most magnetic state and energy so that you go from, unapproachable to approachable to magnetic to attractive. So, we were just at, like Angus said, we were at a training event this past week and it was for our speaker training. So we have a speaking coach and, there was so much content and so much great information that she taught. I think one of the biggest things that we took away from it was she had us step into a couple of challenges where she was like, okay, you're going to step on stage now and, talk to the live audience. And this was of like 80, at least 80 people. And it got us into like, we had to be stretched. We had to, you know, show up in a way that was new for us. But this experiential exercise was what I would say is like the biggest growth point from this entire 4-day event, right?
I love what you're saying there. Forgive me if I'm cutting you off, but we went from trying to memorize scripts and like trying to get it done in a certain time. Like you have 2 minutes to get on stage and say this, this, and this. And you were trying to memorize. And she taught us over the course of just 3 days how to stop memorizing scripts, to know what was really important to us, to get up on stage and be able to articulately deliver a conversation to the audience that was genuinely us, not something that we just memorized and we're trying to like give.
Yeah.
That's exactly, I shouldn't say exactly. It's similar to what we're going to be working with you on this event is how do you authentically become you in a way that you're not memorizing stuff and showing up and acting differently. You're fully unleashed to be your full authentic self and show up in a way that a man is like, wow, I've never met a woman like you. I can't wait to spend time around you. In fact, I can't wait to like not have you not in my life. Like I want to have every part of my life revolving and with you in it.
Yeah. So this is a combination of knowledge and learning and also embodiment and feeling what it feels like for you to be in that energy. So the tickets for it is normally 97. We're doing an early bird special. Right now it's 57. So I put the link in there. We would love for you to join us. It's going to be life-changing. It's going to be amazing. So I'd love for you to join us.
I'm gonna say something. We don't even have a link for this yet. We just decided at that conference to offer a VIP for that event. And that VIP is going to include something for women who are in business. So if you have a business and you want to figure out, how do I become magnetic in business? How do I use these same techniques to attract new clients, to draw people into my business? It's it's a completely different energy than what you've been used to in business, where you go out and pursue and you try and chase down clients and you're trying to get. How do you shift into an energy where people are like, I can't wait to work with you. I want to know what it is about you. And like, yeah, take my money. Like, here, take my money. I don't even know what I'm paying you for, but like, I want to be in your world. Help me figure out and learn what you do. We're going to have an hour-long Q&A call talking about that, where we help your business become magnetic as well. So if you're interested in that, reach out to us. We'll send you a link once that gets put together. But in the meantime, sign up for this event. We know it's going to bless you. We know it's going to open up some doors for you. It's going to shift your results. Like Tiffany, I love what you said there. I know you were already planning on coming, so I'm not pushing anything toward Tiffany, but for those of you that are also listening, if you've had that experience, like, why am I not, like, I think I'm a good catch, but why am I never getting caught?
Mhm.
There's something going on at the energetic level that you're just not hooking. You're not clicking in that magnetic way, and it's not your fault. And it is your opportunity, because you can shift it. And that's what we can do, is help you with.
Yeah. And if you have any questions, go ahead and come off mute or type in the chat. Let us know about the event or what we talked about today, really.
And I'll also say, please do come off mute or type it in the chat. But while we're waiting for anybody's questions, I'll say, if you're in a relationship now,
Mhm.
everything that's going to be talked about in this, and this is one of the things I'm most proud of in the work that we do, is we don't just teach you how to date and then like, good luck with your relationship. Everything that we're going to teach you in the dating part is going to be beneficial once you're in the relationship.
Yes.
So if you're already in a relationship and it's just like, I want to make sure that I keep that that I keep building a strong relationship, we're going to keep teaching you things that are going to work in that relationship. How do you stay passionate? How do you stay connected? How do you stay relevant, to where so many couples grow apart? Let's don't let that happen. The Esther Perel talks about how most people will be in 3 different relationships in their life: divorce, remarry, that kind of stuff. But some people will be in 3 different relationships, all with the same person. I hope that you're in a relationship with a person that grows and changes. And I hope that you grow and change. And I hope that we can help you learn how to stay connected, stay magnetic to each other, grow toward each other, even as you change, instead of changing and growing apart. Questions, thoughts, comments, anything we missed? What do you need from this event? Because we're still building it out. We know almost all the things there, but if you need something specifically, there's still time for us to put that in there and make this relevant to you, so that you get the most bang for your buck out of this thing. So let us know in the chat, or come off mute and tell us what your thoughts are. Quiet group today. You need like Jeopardy music in the background or something. Anyways, while we're waiting for people to either get curious or get brave, courageous, and come off here, what are some of the other things? I know that I gave you a lot of information about men and some of the conversations there. Was there anything that you saw that like really surprised you, or that that you thought women would be better off by knowing, instead of just having it be a hidden statistic somewhere?
Are you talking about this stuff?
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm. I thought that was crazy. Middle-aged men are lonelier than seniors. So traditionally, the older you got, typically the lonelier you got, because your friends started dying, your children moved away, that kind of stuff. But now middle-aged men are more lonely than seniors. I thought that was crazy.
yeah. Also, sometimes spouse stops or risk-taking issues. They are over worried.
I'm not sure I understand that, Al. Do you want to tell me more about that?
Yeah, no, sometimes, because sometimes, for example, you want to go to one place, then the spouse stops you, then you don't go, yes. Then maybe, like, for example, you go for a party outside, in the middle of the night. don't go, maybe the place is like people, it's like a dream or something, you know what I mean? There are so many thoughts in the mind. Then they probably gives you all the negative thoughts that you want to go to the party and eventually you stop because of that. The issue is very difficult. Like you go out then tell her, she'll probably we keep on nagging and nagging.
That's a
Makes
good
it very
point. You call me, what's the thing you say? Angus says to me all the time, like, good thing you're worrying for all of us. Because if you're not worrying, right, then who's worrying? I'm like, yeah, it's hard for me to not worry sometimes. So,
I actually think that there's okay, so this is kind of off topic, but I love it, Al, and that's why I love this thing that we put on here, because it can go wherever it needs to go. Women are naturally more inclined to be concerned about risks and to try it, because we don't need to get into that. It's just a fact. They have more things to worry about, so they do. And I actually think that one of the reasons that women look for men who are funny is because inherently they know that they have plenty of things to worry about, and they need somebody to make them laugh to get them out of their heads. And so as men, that's something that we can absolutely work on as a skill, is how do we do two things? One, create an environment where she has less to worry about. And two, hold the space where when she is worrying, and do something to shift her out of the worry. And so that is, I think Mayan's bringing up a great point. When she's worried, I won't roll my eyes and be like, oh my God, you're worried again. I can be like, oh, good. I'm so thankful that you're worrying about this. That means I don't have to. And like, it's a little bit exasperating. She's like, but then she realizes like, oh yeah, I am kind of worrying about this and he's not. So maybe I don't need to as much.
mhm.
And so we as men have the ability. I love that there's a song, and I can't remember why, I can't think of who wrote it, but I have it on my playlist. I listen to it all the time because it reminds me of my role in our relationship. And it's,
Banks of the river?
mhm,
Okay.
yeah, there's a song called The Banks of the River. And as a man, we are called to allow her to be everything she is created to be. But that is by nature volatile. It's going to ebb and flow. It's going to rise and fall. It's going to explode like a volcano, and it's going to be a still beautiful sunset sometimes. And we don't know which one. And it might only take 45 seconds for it to go from one to the other. But as she's flowing, if she's that river and she has a current, she has a torrent in her, my job is to be the banks of that river and to guide her into a healthy destination. It's not to jump in the river and go get all chaotic with her. It's to say, I see where you're at. I'm grounded. Because I'm grounded, you can know that you can be grounded with me.
Yeah.
And that really does help women regulate. When you regulate your own emotions well, you can help them regulate their emotions, and typically very beneficial.
I'm also hearing, I love that. I'm also hearing that the man gets to step into his groundedness, right? And not letting and allowing the emotions or the worryness of the woman to affect his decision or thoughts or desires. And it's like, yes, you can do all those things. And I know, this is where I want us to go, or this is where, what's the best decision for us, and not be like wavering based on that is
Yeah. So
what I'm hearing.
we got to wrap up here in about a minute or two, but this is a fun story we've already shared a bunch with you from our recent conference. Okay. Tiffany, I'll get to you in just a second.
Bye, Abby.
We were supposed to speak on stage. They told us this in the afternoon, and we were supposed to speak on stage at 9 a.m. and we were supposed to have all these things printed out and all these things. It was crazy. We had to write a new speech for a new offer, all these, everything was chaos. We stayed up till 2 a.m. writing a speech, trying to get it down into 2 minutes. And we woke up first thing in the morning, and Mayan looks at me before she even says anything else and says, the speech isn't going to work. No, you said, I hate to tell you this. I don't want to tell you this, but this speech isn't going to work. And she was right. I didn't want to hear that. And my job as the man is not to just be like, you're worrying too much. I have to trust my woman also and see, is she right about some things? Does she have a good intuition? And sometimes all the time I get to listen to her. Sometimes I get to tell her why we're still going to do it. And sometimes I get to decide, you're right, we're making a switch. And so she gave me that feedback, and I knew, even though I didn't want to hear it, she was right. And so I immediately rewrote the speech right there within like 45 seconds. Okay, here's what we're going to do. This is what we're going to say. And we shifted, and it was amazing. It was maybe the best speech we've ever given.
Yeah.
And so my point to that, Al, is sometimes she has wisdom and you get to listen to her, and all the time you get to bring that groundedness where you put her mind at ease. That doesn't mean that you always do everything she says. Sometimes you do have to say, I hear you, I see what you're saying, and I'm still going to make this choice, because at the end of the day, you're the one that's responsible for the leadership of that home. That being said, let's go to Tiffany, and then we're probably going to have to wrap up. So, Tiffany, your hand was up.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, is the event coming up next weekend, is it for just single people? Is it for couples? Like, could anybody benefit from this, like, in that perspective? Great question.
Great question.
Because my sister, I'd like to invite my sister, and her husband, because they could, I would think that they could benefit from it, but I don't know.
Gotcha. It is going to be tailored to women specifically, but it doesn't have to be single women. So as I mentioned, everything that we're going to teach you in there is going to be beneficial for your relationship no matter what. However, it is all going to be tailored to how does the woman step into her feminine magnetism. So it probably won't be as advantageous for him. But as I always like to say, when one person in a relationship changes, that relationship by definition has to change. It cannot be the same. If she's different, it has to be different. So when you're finding a frustration in your relationship, instead of blaming it on the other person and looking for them to change, when you shift and you change, it will begin to change automatically. So we'd love to have your sister there, or really any woman. I know that this is going to be a blessing to them. And if he's interested and open, I would love to have a conversation with him. I'd love to jump on a call with him, because there are definitely things that we can do to help him as well. I love helping men have a great relationship. I mentioned a bunch of names of famous people. I truly believe, and I know we believe, that the best thing that a man can do is have that amazing partner who sees his greatness and calls him higher constantly. And he is inspired to step into that greatness. So that is what makes men really be the best that they can possibly be. And I want to help them step into that and move to their next level, because it's not as hard as we think it is. With a few simple tweaks, you could have an amazing relationship and take even your business and other areas of your life to the next level.
All right. I have a couple of guys too that I have met along the way, and I think that they could benefit from it. So I'll just connect you to who they are on Facebook or whatever. And that way you can have a conversation and see if they're interested in it. I don't have to.
Yeah. And then if we should get enough interest, we'll put this type of event together for men, and we can do something to support them. I currently do coaching for men. It's just usually one-on-one. So we don't have a big enough group at this time to make that happen. But if we got 5 or 10 of them together, we'd put something together for them as a group event. Awesome. Okay, guys. Any other thoughts, questions?
No, I mean, I'm just excited to see everyone at the event.
When does the early bird pricing end? Is that tonight at midnight?
I think we're extending it for a little bit longer, but
So through, let's say through Sunday, because next week is basically the last week. So it can't be early bird after that. So if you want that $57 pricing, sign up before this weekend is over and goes back up to the regular price starting Monday. Invite your friends. As we always say, it's better to be in this together. And when you are in the room with people who are like-minded and are going the same direction, it's so much easier to go together than it is to fight against the current. If you've got negative people in your life, or people who are frustrated, unsuccessful in these areas of life, and those are influencing you, you're the salmon swimming upstream. It's possible, but it's a heck of a lot easier to not have to swim alone.
for sure. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. Love you.
And
Yeah.
Al, we would love to connect with you too.
Yeah,
So
Love to, Al. Yeah,
I'll
reach
send
out.
you a message and connect.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, guys. Love you. See you next
Thanks,
week.
Christina. Bye.
Bye.